Welcome to Food in a Flash. I'm Sharon Glass, and today we're making a meal for the working mom which can be done in 30 to 40 minutes. We're making a creamy pea and asparagus soup, some za'atar chicken breasts, and some butternut just to add some flavor as well. A Greek salad with a delicious dressing, and we're finishing with a sliced layered fruit salad. So let's get cooking. As a self-taught cook and cooking teacher of 27 years, I have a passion for what I do, and as a mother, I know how rewarding it is to see my family happily tucking into a wonderful meal that I have prepared. I also know what it's like to be a busy mom and still have to think about getting dinner on the table. It's not always easy, but it doesn't have to be complicated. That's why I started teaching and writing cookbooks, to show people just how wonderful it can be to cook and enjoy and still have time and energy to do the important things in life. Over the next few weeks, I hope I can get you to become confident in the kitchen, have fun, and above all, create some beautiful, simple meals that you and your family will absolutely love. I've wedged some butternut that I'm going to pop into the oven. So I want to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on them, season them with coarse salt and pepper, and basically just pop them in the oven while I'm doing the rest of the meal. A little bit of coarse salt for flavor, and some black pepper. My oven's been preheated to about 180 degrees, and I need to pop them in and then just check them halfway through. We're going to be making a pea and asparagus soup. So what I'm doing is just taking my asparagus, popping it into a bowl. I need to pour some water over it because I find asparagus always have lots of sand in the heads. We add a little bit of salt to the bowl, and what it does is draw out the sand from the heads. Leave that for about 10 minutes and you'll be amazed at what you find on the bottom of the bowl. We're going to add some peas, some onion, a little bit of curry powder and yogurt, which is low fat, garlic, chili, and some stock powder, which I'm going to mix with boiling water. We need to soften those onions, not brown them. We don't want to brown them because they're going to change the color of the soup. I'm going to put my stove on a medium heat. Pop your onions in, and we'll add the chili and the garlic now, which will let the flavors infuse and give it lots of flavor. Not too much chili. You don't want to burn their palates. I always say food should be a little bit hot, that you just tingle your tongue, not make it too strong that people can't eat it. We just want to simmer them until they're softened, and you'll actually see the color change. So what I like to do is just leave them, let them do their own thing, and let me tell you about the rest of the ingredients. So the peas need to be frozen. We don't want them defrosted because they're going to cook too quickly in the soup, and the main thing with this soup is to keep it green. We want that beautiful, beautiful color. I know that some people don't like asparagus, so what I would suggest if you don't want to use the asparagus is use the same quantity of peas and just make this a pea soup. Now the asparagus, choose thinnish asparagus because the thicker they are, the longer they'll take to cook. And the general rule, it's about 3 minutes, maybe 5 if it's a fat asparagus. So I've got some stock powder. I'm just going to pop this. I'm a quick cook. I don't have time to stand in the kitchen and make stocks that take hours in pots. Even though they're natural and they're delicious, I really wish I did have time. But this is a nice quick way, and these stock powders don't have MSG. So I think they're good. They've got lots of flavor, and we want to use a vegetarian stock because we're making a vegetable soup. It's about 2 cups, and this recipe should feed about 4 people. I need to keep an eye on my onions, make sure that they're not burning. And they take a little while to change color. As you can see, they're starting to soften. We'll just leave them for another few minutes. The curry powder just gives it that little bit of extra flavor. And I want to add it now because if I don't add it now, it's going to not dissolve very nicely later. I'm going to add a drop more olive oil because it just is getting a little bit dry. So it's probably 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil for the whole recipe. Okay, now you can actually see how beautifully those onions have changed color. Those are fine, they softened, I don't need them to go any longer. And I've actually pre-cooked some gem squash. It's a fabulous vegetable that doesn't have any calories and it adds thickness to your soup, and that's exactly what we want. We're just going to add about 2 whole squash. So I want this to come to a boil. I'm going to just let that simmer with the lid on. Soups need the lid on. If we take the lid off, all our liquid evaporates, and then what do we have? We need to add more liquid. So these have soaked nicely, and these asparagus, as you can see, have got quite a woody stem. So I'm going to cut those off because they're going to take quite long to cook, and I don't want string in that soup. And then I've got those asparagus ready to go. And we're just going to cut these a little bit smaller so that they cook quite fast. I'll just do these back ones as well. Right, my soup is boiling. We're going to add the asparagus and the peas, and then we'll let that simmer. So this won't take long, probably about 10 minutes. I just want the asparagus to get soft. The peas are ready to go. It's looking and smelling absolutely gorgeous, but we'll leave it for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to blend it. Well, I think it's ready to go. Let's turn the stove off and let's blend this to get it really nice and smooth. This really takes a few seconds. As you can see, it's ready to go. My color is beautiful. It's a gorgeous green. Let's grab a ladle and check it. Can you see how gorgeous that looks? Now it's quite thick, and that's perfect because when I add the yogurt, it's going to thin it out, and I can always thin out a soup, but I can't thicken it. So I like to make them always thicker. Add some more stock, add a bit of yogurt. Not too much, we just want to give it that creamy feel. And what's beautiful about this is that the color is so vibrant, it looks awesome. I'll just wipe that edge. We're going to spoon a little bit of yogurt on the top just to give it a really fancy look. And a little sprig of parsley. When we come back, we're going to do some za'atar chicken breasts and a Greek salad with a delicious dressing. Don't go away. Hi and welcome back. We're going to make some chicken breasts and a delicious Greek salad with a minty dressing today. So what we're going to do now is make the marinade for the chicken breasts. I have some skinless and boneless chicken breasts. We're going to use lemons, some salt, seasoning, a little bit of za'atar spice, which some of you may not know, and some garlic, but this is really, really delicious and quite easy. I find that people often battle with chicken breasts. They're not sure how to get them exactly perfect. So I'm going to show you just the right thing to do. So what we want is some lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. It really gives it lots of flavor. What we're going to do is add some garlic, just for a bit of flavor. I just want to crush it with a knife, and sometimes I use fresh garlic. So if you just flatten it first, and then just chop it quite finely. Do you know that salt is a fantastic thing to add to garlic? It crushes it even finer. But you can use a garlic press if you like. That works quite well as well. Even one clove will work fine. Let's add that to the marinade, and we'll just leave this on the side. Then we're going to add some za'atar spice. Now za'atar is basically a mixture of thyme with a little bit of sesame seeds in it. If you look at it, it's got quite a lot of sesame seeds in it. It's a Middle Eastern spice, and it's used a lot on chicken. So you could do this on chicken pieces, chicken breasts, a whole chicken even. You could spatchcock a chicken. I'm adding some black pepper, a little bit of seasoning salt, and that's all going to add flavor. And then of course, fresh coarse salt. Let's give it a stir. We just want to get those flavors mixed in, and I want to add a little bit of olive oil because my chicken breasts don't have any oil whatsoever, so I don't want them too dry. We're going to just add a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons. As you can see, my measure is always not perfect. Let's whisk that in. So we're going to take a chicken breast, pop it on a plastic sheet on top of my board. I always use plastic boards because of the bacteria. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing the chicken breast. So what we want to do is put the plastic, another sheet of plastic on top to protect my mallet, and I'm going to pound the chicken breast to get it really, really soft and tender, and that breaks down the sinew in the chicken. Right. It also takes very little time to cook, probably about 5 minutes. And you can get your frustration out by using this. So if you've had a hard day, just beat that chicken. You could even ask your butcher to do that for you. But this is absolutely perfect. I'm just going to pop it straight into the marinade. And you can see how I've broken it down so that it's much, much thinner. So it's really going to cook quickly. I'll just coat this one. This one, what we're going to do is cut the chicken breast completely in half. And by doing that, I'm also breaking down the sinew in the chicken breast. So I can cook it in 2 pieces. So that's another option. And the last trick is to take your chicken breast and slash it 3 times. And that way, when it grills, it actually goes into the chicken and your marinade penetrates as well, and it cooks very quickly. This will take the longest, probably about 8 minutes. The other 2 probably about 5. And we're going to leave them in the marinade for about 15 minutes just to coat them. So this can be done with chicken pieces or a whole chicken. Chicken pieces will take about 45 minutes, a whole chicken about 90. The lemon starts to cook the chicken, so you don't want to do it too far in advance. While this is marinating for about 15 minutes, we're going to make a delicious salad. We're going to make a traditional chunky Greek salad with cucumber, feta, some tomatoes, olives, a little bit of baby marrow and some red onion. And I want to just cut this cucumber into chunks, but I'm going to take the seeds out because I find that it just dilutes the dressing a little bit. And cucumber, the minute it has dressing on it, it tends to go soggy. So just take a little teaspoon, it works very, very well. Scoop out those seeds, and then we're just going to cut it into big chunks. So just as simple as that. It's got to have lots of color. That's what it's all about. And this, you want to dress just before you serve it because the dressing only needs to sit on for a little while. Otherwise, that whole salad becomes soggy. Roma tomatoes, we're going to just slice those into chunks as well. And they're nice and firm, so I want to just cut those into big chunks as well. So everything should match. This is nice because sometimes you get sick of making the same salad all the time. I find that in my family, every night they want to know what salad we're having. And sometimes I make it chunky, sometimes I cut it into strips. Just depends on my mood. And tonight I feel like making a delicious chunky Greek salad. So no lettuce, that's how they do it. Lots of good olive oil. Let's put some feta. We've got some nice feta, and we have different varieties as well, so you could add herbs. You could also leave the cheese out if you really wanted to, but as you can see, it's really coming together nicely. The olives have been pitted, so I'm just going to pop those in. And my baby marrow, I'll just cut them in the middle because those are small ones, and we'll just slice them into chunks as well. This is a bit unusual, not quite the traditional Greek, but it adds a new dimension. Now a little bit of red onion. Red onion is sweeter than white onions, but we don't want too much. We don't want to overpower the whole salad. So we'll just use about 1/4 of a red onion, also into nice chunks, and just let's separate those pieces. And I think that's good to go. Now we just need to make the dressing. We've got some lemon, a little bit of garlic and sugar, some parsley and some mint, and some olive oil. I want to chop the herbs first. So I want them as quite as fine as possible so that we can actually just whisk them in. So it's always nice to use dry herbs because they chop very, very well when they're dry. And the fresh herbs really make a difference. If you don't have fresh, dry oregano works beautifully in a Greek salad dressing also. So you could just sprinkle a little bit of that in. But this is going to give me great color. Now I'm going to use my olive oil. It's a light classic olive oil, perfect for salad dressing. And general rule of thumb is 3 parts of olive oil to 1 part of acidity. So it would be the lemon or the vinegar or whatever you're using. In this case, we're using lemon juice, which is going to give me a nice tang to the salad dressing. A little bit of sugar, because that will just break that acidity. A little bit of garlic. We don't want too much, not to overpower it. And some sugar, about a half a teaspoon, and some coarse salt. And we're going to whisk that up. And then I'll add my herbs. And in fact, if I dressed this now, it would be perfect. And you can see it's coating the salad, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want it to be drowning, because it's going to start to bring out the juices in those vegetables. So if we just pile this onto a platter, and that's how quick and simple it is with a delicious herby dressing. When we come back, we're going to finish off with a sliced layered fruit salad and grill our chicken breasts. Don't go away. Welcome back to Food in a Flash. We've made a delicious creamy pea and asparagus soup, and we're marinating our chicken breasts. So now we're going to slice some fruit to make a delicious tropical fruit salad. I've got some spongebek. I'm going to use some mango, a little bit of green melon, and what you want to do is layer in colors so that it really looks vibrant in your bowl. I'm using a glass bowl because we want to see those layers. And the beauty about this is that it's just a little bit different, not the same fruit salad as usual. So this is going on the bottom in nice thin slices, and it's all about color. You don't want to overfill it. So we're just going to do a couple of layers of spongebek, and then we'll add some green melon, because that must be my next step. And I'm doing quite big slices so they fit into my bowl beautifully. Remember to use a nice high bowl rather than one that's too wide, so that you get that gorgeous look. Right, the mangoes, we just want to slice just off the pip. So that's a cheek, basically, is what you call it. Just slice your mango nice and thin, and we'll layer it. I always say to my students, don't worry about what's in the middle. It's about the outside. That's what people see. So you always put your fruit on the outside first, fill up the outside, never mind about the middle. They'll never see what's going on there. And you can always bulk that with some other fruit. So this looks really, really good. Pineapple. We'll do some thin slices. I'll just halve them because they're a little bit big and clumsy. You can see I always like big chopping knives. Some people prefer smaller ones, but I find this works really well for me. And this is just something nice to end off your meal, especially during the week where you really don't want a rich, creamy dessert. Okay, so what we'll do now, add some strawberries, and we want to slice them lengthwise so that you get the nicest look out of them. And we'll finish with some kiwi and granadilla, which is really a treat for South Africans because they're so expensive in other countries. Top it off with that layer of kiwi. You can see how gorgeous that's looking already. And we'll do our granadillas. And we're just going to put the fresh pulp over, and that will cause a little bit of the juice of the fruit to come out. It really is wonderfully fresh, no sugar needed, nothing added to this. And we'll put it in the fridge because there's nothing nicer than a cold fruit salad. I could just dive into that bowl. My chicken breasts have marinated and I've preheated the pan, so let's get them going. I can feel that the heat is fine because it's coming off the pan, so I want to put the thickest one on first, in the middle where the highest heat is, and then these ones won't take long at all. So the trick, don't turn them, leave them, let them get lots of color. I never add the marinade back in the pan, only put it in right at the end, otherwise it tends to burn, even though this is just a lemon one. Let me just move these. And then this thinner one will take as little time as possible. We want to season with a little bit of salt and pepper, just to add that little zing of flavor. A chicken breast is perfect when it turns easily. The minute it sticks to the grilling pan, it's not ready to turn, so don't turn it, leave it. As it pulls and you can feel a bit of resistance, you know that it's not quite sealed on the one side. This is my favorite way of doing chicken breast. Some people prefer the oven, but I like it this way. Right, they look awesome. You can see that color's really going into the chicken breast. I want those lines, and that's what makes it appealing. Right at the end, we'll add the sauce. And then what I want to do is just take that marinade and just spoon it over to give them lots of flavor so that they're not dry. I must cook the marinade because it's had raw chicken in it, and I can't leave it without adding it to the pan. These are done. You can see that the color is absolutely gorgeous. They're nice and juicy, they look beautiful, and they didn't take long at all. And that is the perfect grilled chicken breast. So my butternut is perfectly cooked. I'm going to pop it on the plate with the chicken, and we're ready to go. It's golden, it's crispy, it really looks delicious. And the colors are nice as well. So this was in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. We just kept shaking the pan, and you can see that it didn't need any extra oil. I think that's perfect. Right, that's ready to serve. So we've made the best, easiest meal for during the week for a working mom. We've got some soup, some salad, chicken breast and butternut, very healthy food, and finishing off with a sliced layered fruit salad. How delicious could you get? Don't miss next week's show when I'll show you how to spend those bucks wisely. We'll be making a chicken stir fry with steamed jasmine rice, quick and easy pizzas, and finish off with a strawberry yogurt ice cream that's to die for.
You've seen her do it on TV. Now learn to cook with Sharon at one of her fun interactive cooking workshops. From the very basics of cooking to full dinner party meals or cakes and bakes, Sharon Glass has a cooking class or workshop just for you. For more information or to book a spot, visit www.thehomechannel.co.za and follow the link to Food in a Flash. And for one lucky Home Channel viewer, Sharon is offering an interactive workshop for you and 7 of your friends. All you have to do to enter is log on to our website, fill in the online entry form, and you could stand a chance to win this great prize. Entries for the competition close on Sunday the 15th of July.